Hey, how's it going, Poke fans? So welcome back to Pokemon TCG Center. In this video, we'll be looking at Alolan Ninetales and Alolan Sandslash deck for the standard format. And this is the budget version of the deck that you can see in front of you. So this deck is probably going to cost you around 20, maybe 25, 30 bucks at the top, I guess. And it's a really decent deck that can be also used in some cases against top tier competitive decks. I really like the idea of Alolan Ninetales with Alolan Sandslash, just because with Luminous Bar we can prevent our opponent from dealing any damage to Ninetales as long as he have EX or GX, and on the other side with the Sandslash we can attack for free with the Spike Armor, plus if our opponent damaged our Sandslash he's still gonna take 6 damage counters, which is a very big deal because if we strike for 30 or possibly 60 with a Choice Band, and if he took 6 damage back, that's a lot of damage counters, and then we can have maybe even possible turn knockout with Aurora Beam, so this is very important. Overall, deck is built to be played on budget, and the most expensive cards inside are going to be Octillery and Guzma. And that's pretty much it. If you really want to start playing Pokemon TCG, you should definitely have 4 Sycamores and at least 4 Shonas, which these days should be very easy to find because Sycamore is not that expensive as it was. I mean, it was at $3 a piece before Cynthia was released, but right now when the Cynthia is released, um, it's maybe $1 a piece. So yeah, Sycamore just lose in value. Anyways, so we have one Mr. Mime with a bench barrier, good against those sniping decks on the bench. 4 Alolan Sandslash and Censure, of course, featuring 4 Vulpix and 4 Ninetales, and of course one of each Ramride and Octillery for the drop support. 4 Aqua Patches just because we can accelerate some energies. Then there we have 1 Counter Catcher as well as 1 Escape Rope. It's a very good substitute for the Guzma. 2 copies of Field Blower, of course. I really like to use Field Blower if it's possible. 1 copy of Rescue Stretcher, and then 4 copies of the Ultra Ball. In addition to all of those cards, I'm also running 4 Brooklyn Hills, because Brooklyn Hills are going to be our main stadium, so we can basically use it as a level ball, and we can pretty much set up our water Pokemons on the bench. 2 copies of Guzma and 8 drop supporters, 4 Sycamores and 4 Shonas. Very good substitute for the very expensive Cynthia. 2 of each Choice Band, and of course this deck really makes a lot of sense. A skateboard, the retreat cost of the Pokemon this card is attached is 1 less, and it can still retreat under the sleep or paralyzed condition. 12 energies, 4 DCEs, and 8 regular water energy cards. And that's pretty much it. This is the deck list that I'm going to use in this video. I hope you guys are going to enjoy watching it. Make sure to hit a thumbs up and sub the channel for more videos. If you're looking for any of these cards, you can always find them on ccgcastle.com, where link is provided in my video description. As well, if you may be looking forward to send your cards to the PSA submission, make sure to check ludkinscollectables.com. Link is also provided in my video description. So let's move on to the game test so you can actually see how this deck is gonna perform in the action. So, okay, so your deck has been unsaved. Well, we're gonna save this deck as Alolan deck, and then we're just gonna jump to the battle and see how it will work. So that's pretty much it. We're hoping for the best. So let's go, versus mode. Alright, there we go, Alolan deck. Many times when I'm building decks, I just used to delete them. I don't know why, because I would have probably 1,000 decks. I mean, I think I built around 1,500 decks so far, so that's a lot. And probably if you're gonna ask me, do you know the exactly card from specific set, I would probably just gonna say, yeah, I know that card and I know what it can do. Yeah, that's how it is. I know a lot of cards and a lot of effects and abilities and also attacks and stuff like that. So there we go. I started with the worst possible start for me, I guess. It's the Mr. Mime. Even better would be a Ramride, I guess. But it is how it is. At least I have a skateboard available in my hand. And looks like I'm going to play against that Garbodor deck. Alright, and we see first Tapu Lele on the other side. It's a maybe Espeon deck. We're gonna find that out very quickly. I think it is Espeon GX featuring Garbodor. Still, I think I have pretty decent matchup against that deck. as long as I can control the board without playing too many item cards, I guess. So there's the first GX Espeon, and there's also a choice band for him. And it's my turn. So what we're gonna find as the top deck is gonna be a Brooklet Hill. So I kinda like that top deck. Alright, so I'm gonna set up one Vulpix on the bench. And more than that, I really need to control my yeah, we're gonna discard a Guzma in this case. I really want to have less item cards as I can find in my discard pile. This is very important. So let's go with the Shauna and hope for maybe a couple more basic Pokemons. There we go. Here they are. And I'm gonna retreat onto my Vulpix. And right now I can search my deck for something like, let's see, Octillery and one Ninetales. And that's it for now. No energy attachment, but it's not a big deal. I can even attack without energy with my Sandslash, so Spike Armor should do the job. The most important thing for me is to evolve as fast as possible, but as you can see, my opponent already have energy, so with Double Course Energy and Floatstone, he can start to use his YGX, which will allow him to take a knockout against one of my Pokemons on the bench. Probably he will just gonna target that Remoraid, but who knows. So far I have only 2 item cards, so with the Garbodor and Trasholan, she can just hit me for like a 40. Hitting for like a 40, it's not a big deal, so you really want to hit for more than 40. Hitting for 40 is not something you really want, but this is the huge problem for the Ninetales deck. I mean, in an early game, you really can't do too much with your Garbodor, so you really want to use that Psychic or maybe the YGX. So right now with the Psychic, he can take the knockout, and I think he might just decide to go for it. Of course, if he decides to go for it, what I'm gonna do, yes, he decides to do it, I'm gonna put my Ninetales in the active position. So I can basically have that Luminous Barrier that can actually prevent my opponent from dealing damage with his Espeon. And at least that is something. So I also have this Octillery. I mean, yeah, he can potentially still surprise me with his Garbodor, but I hope that's just not gonna happen. I can use advantage of my Counter Catcher, which I'm definitely gonna do. And it can go for his Eevee. And then I'm gonna play Shauna. Alright. And that's it for now. So I'm passing my turn back to my opponent. So far 3 item cards, which means that right now with the Trasholan he can deal 6 damage counters. But still, that's just pretty much fine. I could also retreat, for example. Alright, I can discard my Mr. Mime, not a big deal. I really don't need him anyways. He can just put damage counters, put 10 instead of the DOS, so that's a huge difference, just in case if you're new to the game. Mr. Mime won't block those damage counters. I can still be confused. I can still be affected by the special condition from my opponent Espeon, so that's something you also need to know about it. Back when the Pokemon powers were actually instead of the abilities, Pokepowers states that when your Pokemon is actually under the special condition, like Sleep, Poison, Confuse, Burn, or something like that, he was not able to use ability. These days, actually Pokepower, but these days we have abilities, and abilities does not have those limitations. And I would probably be more happier to see those limitations, to be honest. There's a choice band. That's a very interesting. So he decided to Psybeam me for 30. Alright, so that's definitely an interesting decision. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna retreat. Of course I'm gonna retreat. And I'm gonna play my Shauna. Alright, so what can we get here? Ultra Ball. Well, that's not something I really want. I'm just gonna attack with my Spike Armor for 30. It's not a lot, but still, if he deals some damage to me back, that might not gonna be... Yeah, I mean, this Trash Lunch Garbler is the biggest problem at this moment. I can't play my item cards. I really need to limit my item card in my discard pile. So there's another Psychic Energy. So he might decide to attack me for 30. If he do that, he's gonna take 6 back. And there's the Cynthia. So if he do that, I'm pretty happy to see that, actually. And there's another Flowstone. Alright, it's very important to notice how many item cards he has been used. So there we go with the white, which means he decided to go straight away for my Ninetales on the bench. Alright, so I guess even... Yeah, this Garbler actually makes a lot of problems to me. That Garbotoxin is just very annoying and it's very powerful. And I can't do too much, unfortunately. I simply can't do too much. Without something like a Fill Blower, I really can't do too much. So anyways, again, I'm going to use that Spike Armor, no question about that. And I guess I'm forced to use another Shona in this situation. This is definitely not good. Alright, but at least I managed to get that Brooklet Heal in play. Alright, so I guess I'm going to try to grab one more Sandshrew and put him on the bench. And more than that, I can just Spike Armor my opponent and that's it. I can hope not to see Guzma play, because with the Guzma, he can just knock on my Ninetales, and then I'm gonna lose both Ninetaleses, and 2 Vulpix are already in my discard pile, so that's a little bit tricky. I simply need to get... there's a Guzma, as expected. So right now I think the game is just lost from this position, because I can't simply recover back without those Ninetaleses. Plus I also don't have N, and it's very difficult to play. There's another Psychic. So we can maybe potentially try to stall playing that Guzma, for example. And I think I'm actually gonna try to do that. Or maybe even better, I can hit his Garbodor for like a 90. Actually, it's not that I need to do that right now. I can just hit for like a 30. And next turn I can knock him out. Or better reverse. I should better go with reverse. I should better go right now with the Frostbreed. And then with the Spike Armor. That would make some more sense. But yeah, still... Yeah, I'm gonna use that Frost Braid. Can't let my opponent to have that retreat, fortunately. But he can knock me out right now with the Psychic, dealing 120. And that's something that I really don't want to see, but at least right now I can have that Abyssal hand. I might be still in a position to recover somehow if I can put those Vulpixes back into my deck. No, it's not gonna be easy. I need to recycle 2 Vulpix and at least 1 Ninetales, because I still have 1 Ninetales available, and there's the Ultra Ball for Tapu Lele. So he might decide to go right now, for something like Octillery with a Guzma. We shall see. There's a 1 Wonder tag, and it is for... I mean, Ninetales can go... Actually, for Sycamore, Espeon cannot deal more than like 60, so that's the big problem for my opponent. On the other side, I have only 3 item cards in my discard pile, so he can hit him for like a 60, barely 60. So the only available option for him is just to use the Psy. He can knock out my Sandslash. So that's a huge disadvantage for me because I'm gonna lose one more Pokemon. And there's the Super Rod, so he can recover back those Garbodors and then simply play Sycamore for 7. Yeah, he had 2 Garbodors in his discard pile, and he decided to take only one of them. Makes a lot of sense because you can just grab another one maybe with the Rescue Stretcher if you pull him. So for me, somehow, yeah, I'm not gonna survive, that's for sure. There's another Pearl City, so he can limit my bench space down to 3, retreat, use Psychic for 120. Actually, it's gonna be more than 120, it's gonna be 150. Yeah, because I have 3 energies attached. Who knows, maybe my opponent gonna go crazy and decide to attack with his Trash Launch. That would be amazing. In that case, I might still be able to pull... no, I cannot grab another Guzma because I already used 2 of them. Yeah, a little bit hard to play against this. Interesting. So he decided to use Psychic instead of the... Yeah, it's a really interesting decision. There's just no question about that. So I'm gonna roll with the Ultra Ball in this situation, which is gonna give me nothing, so I can Abyssal Hand for 5. And potentially maybe get that... Oh, very bad hand. Seriously, very bad hand. Which means, at least... I can power up my Sandslash. No question about that. Plus I can Escape Rope. And then I can Sycamore for 7. Not too many things that can be done here. I still have that bench limitation. Alright, so Sycamore for 7. I need Rescue Stretcher so badly, and I managed to get one. So what we're going to discard here are going to be these 2 tools and Stadium. I don't know why I discarded Stadium, don't ask me. It was just a stupid decision. But I'm gonna shuffle back 2 Ninetales, 1 Ninetales and 2 Vulpix. And I can grab one of those Vulpix and put them on the bench. I can also go for the second one, but it really makes no sense. So this is going to be Spike Armor for another 30. And if I get damage from my opponent, he's going to take 6 damage counters back. I mean, in theory, this deck is good, but... I don't know. I'm not going to say it's breaking, but... it's just lagging a little bit. Let's just say that. Garbodor is a big problem. Right now, he can just Trash Launch and one-hit knock on my Sandslash. That's the biggest problem. And there's another Cynthia. So I cannot end him because I don't have resources for that. 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, there's like 180 or something like that. With that. Okay. So I guess this Sandslash is the only one who can respond, knocking out my opponent Garbodor. Okay, it's not that it is the only one. Maybe I can still... how many double cores energies I have in my discard pile? Let's see. 0. So potentially 2 in my deck. What about energies? What are energies? 4 of them. 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh, that's a very close to my limitation, unfortunately. So yeah, there's just not too many things that can be done. We can go with another Aqua Patch for another energy. It can be attached to my Vulpix, as well as another energy from my hand. And then I can Abyssal Hand and grab some resources. And find that Ninetales also, put him in play. Again, after that I can just use that Frost Breath. And one hit knocking my opponent Garbodor. Took one prize. Well, I'm down to 4. Of course, bursting balloons should make a lot of sense, but then those bursting balloons would just destroy consistency. That would be a big problem. But still a decent job. I mean, managed to pull 2 prize cards. I'm gonna grab at least one more, I guess. Maybe not. Probably not. Because right now this is just gonna be a Psychic, and I'm gonna be knocked out anyways. And the best thing I can do is just to promote my Ninetales in the front, hit with Aurora Beam for like 80, and after that, that's it. But as you can see, deck is very consistent. I mean, from turn to turn, each turn, I basically have almost every card that I can use. I mean, it works pretty well. There's just no question about that. Can we find something with the Brooklet Hill? I guess we can. So all I can do is just Abyssal Hand and grab 3 more cards. Well, oh, finally, Choice Band. Yeah, it was a long time before I managed to get him. So I'm gonna discard as many item cards as I can so I can increase the damage that my opponent can deal to my Ninetales next turn with his Garbodor. And I'm gonna hit for 110, and that's pretty much it. I'm also gonna say well played to my opponent. And I'm gonna move to the game number 2 because that's the GG. There's nothing else I can do. As long as he retreats and attack with his Garbodor Trash Launch for like 100, 200, 300. Okay. Fair enough. 300 in total. So it's not that I didn't deal a single damage counter. I mean, I dealt like 470, so that's not bad at all, isn't it? Let's play one more game and see if there's going to be more luck for me. This time I think I'm going to play maybe against Duskmane Necrozma. Alright, so I'm going to call heads. And I'm going to start first. And pretty decent opening hand. Especially if Ramrod and Artillery are both available. And then I can have a Miracle, almost a Miracle, from my turn. Oh, I even managed to top deck Brooklet Hill. Actually a Shauna, so that's even better. Well, Ramrod and Artillery both here. That's a sweet. That's a very sweet. Yeah, type nil. I mean, what I can expect. Probably Silvally GX. So I really want to have as many Ninetales in play as I can have. That's it for now. I can retreat, I guess, but I guess I don't want to do that. So for the turn 1, this is better than the Bridget play. I have 2 Vulpix and 1 Sandslash, and also Vulpix with Water Energy in the active position. Oh! Lapras GX has just been pulled by that Brooklet Hill. That's amazing. And there's the Ultra Ball. So will there be some sort of the Water Energies? Water Energy and Choice Band. Of course, my opponent realized, hey, in this matchup, I'm not going to need Choice Band. I'm just going to discard it. But who knows? I mean, he can't know if I'm running Alolan Ninetales GX or not. So there's another type nil. Okay. And a Nest Ball. So that might be for Ranguru. But I just might be very wrong. And it is for the Dusk Wing. No, it's a Downwing Necrozma. And there's an Aqua Patch. So the last card is probably Professor Sycamore. Yeah, it is. So that's a pretty sweet turn 1 combo for my opponent. I mean, seriously, look at his deck. And there's the Max Elixir. Alright, so I would prefer more Aqua Patch over the Max Elixir, but looks like he played both of these cards, and he almost managed to crank that Lapras with enough resources to do a lot of damage counters. So I'm gonna go for one more Vulpix. I mean, I'm going all in right there, seriously. I just need Ninetales right now, because if I don't find it, I'm gonna be in a very bad position, but luckily I managed to pull that Ultra Ball, and what I'm gonna discard from here, it's gonna be a Fill Blower. I'm not gonna... Actually, Fill Blower, nah, I'm not gonna do that. I guess I can discard these 2 cards and grab myself Ninetales. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna risk. I really don't want to risk with that Abyssal hand. I really want to have that Ninetales. It's very important. I can start to deal some pressure to my opponent. There's 8 damage counters right now. So, none of his Pokemons except for the type Nil can deal some damage counters to me. But this Merciless Strike for like a 30 plus 30. If your opponent has any damage counter, this attack does 30 more, so it's gonna be just a 30. But with the Guzma, he can knock out my Remoraid. Alright. And he can do that by doing that Blizzard Burn for 160. And there's a Tapu Fini. So I decided probably next turn I can expect to see that Tapu Storm play. Probably. So for now, I guess I'm gonna put my Vulpix in the front. Also, I'm gonna play Escape Board. So who's gonna get it? It's a shame when you need to discard your Aqua Patches without being able to play them. This is such a shame that I don't know what I should say about that. But anyways, I'm gonna grab another Ninetales. Probably gonna put him on the bench and then roll with Sycamore for 7. Okay, I can use advantage of the Counter Catcher as well, which makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I'm gonna need that Remoraid as well, so I'm just gonna grab him into my hand. I mean, I can deal 110. Why not? This is a lot of damage counters, to be honest. It's a double hit knockout, and even if my opponent decide to shuffle back, actually, yeah, he can definitely shuffle him back into my deck. I don't mind if he decide to do that. I'm just gonna have another Ninetales ready on my bench for the next turn. Just gonna need that double course energy. I could potentially have Counter Catcher on his Tapu Fini, but I just decided not to waste that Counter Catcher yet. It's still not time. I'm still gonna go for that Lapras better. I mean, seriously, it's much better to go for the Lapras. This Sandshrew on the bench sending Alolan, like a boss on the left bottom corner of my bench. He's still waiting for better days. Oh, there's the Cynthia, which means there's not gonna be... Yeah, he might decide to... I don't know, deal some damage with his Silvally, but there's no energies in his discard pile. Maybe with a type nil. Okay, so right now he have actually 1 energy in his discard pile. I really like this Majournia. If you're not familiar with this Majournia, it's the card that actually allows you to put a tool from your Pokemon to your hand back. It makes a lot of sense. And there's an Aqua Patch as well for the Tapu Fini. So right now he can have that retreat, and then he can return my Ninetales and all cards into my deck. If he decide to do that, that's just going to be perfectly fine. Because then I'm gonna have Ultra Ball, and Ultra Ball is gonna be for Octillery. Then I'm gonna have Counter Catcher Play. Then I'm gonna have. Oh, he can't even do that. I almost forget. You can't even do that. Alright, that's just insane. So what we're gonna do here is gonna be Ultra Ball Play. Then I'm gonna grab myself Octillery. I don't know, I guess my opponent needs to be Houdini here to win this match. No, he decided to concede. There we go. So, yeah, after the game number 1, in the game number 2, you just managed to see the full potential of this budget deck, where my opponent just decided to scoop the game. So, since he decided to scoop, I guess I'm gonna try to play one more game so we can have actually 3 games in a row. Best of 3 series. And yeah, to see if I'm gonna grab 2 victories. I'm starting first. Always welcome. Alright, so... Ooh, okay, Sentru. I mean, not bad. Still for free, I can use that Defense Curl. It's a decent attack, but I can also retreat for 1 energy and have that extra energy in my discard pile available for something like Aqua Patch, just for example. So, I can draw... Oh, top deck is Escape Rope. Okay, so with the Brooklyn Hill, I'm gonna grab myself Vulpix. Then I'm gonna have that energy attachment, of course. After that, I'm gonna have Ultra Ball. And with that Ultra Ball, I'm gonna grab myself another Vulpix. Oh, that's not a Vulpix. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to use my Aqua Patch. There we go. After that, I can use my Escape Rope, put one of my Vulpixes in the active position, roll with Sycamore for 7, and for now, pass... Oh, no. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna pass the turn because I was the first to start this game. And that's it. So, for the next turn, I can have Alolan Sandslash in play, I can have double CORSAIR Energy on my Vulpix, and I can have probably Sycamore for 7 once again. But I maybe even decide to go with Shona for 5. I still don't know. It will depend on the top deck, I guess. Yeah, it will depend on the top deck. So 2 more Cosmox and 1 Solgaleo, or Solgaleo, whatever you want to call it. Dust Gathering. Okay, no, we're not going to put you on the bench. I really need bench space for much more useful cards like Remrite, for example. Yeah, worst possible scenario, I can always retreat and deal some damage with my Sandslash, I guess. Okay. Not that bad. Still, I pulled that Ultra Ball, and I also have Shona for next turn, so I can refresh my hand. And that's really amazing. And also, I'm gonna have that Luminous Barrier, I guess. So, with that being said, I just hope my opponent plays that Solgaleo that's not GX, at least one of them. If you're smart enough, you should definitely attack one of them in your deck. I mean, yeah, you can still attack with your Solgaleo for 160 with 4 energy cost, but once this Pokemon is knocked out, it just goes out of the play. It's just in the loss zone and you cannot use it anymore until the next game. So this is the biggest problem for the Prism Storm cards. But there's a new card, Lysander Prism Stadium, something like that, which says that I think once your Prism Star card is discarded, I think it should go back into your hand or in your disco pile instead of the lost zone, something like that. Or you can use the effect of that card in your lost zone. I just know that something will come out, but I'm not sure 100% what. I was reading about that card today, but I just completely forget about it. And there's around 15 or maybe even 20 cards that are going to be playable with the new set. So grass Pokemons are going to get support with that Stage 1 Pokemon. I'm not sure what the name is, something on A. Yeah, they're going to get support. Psychic Pokemons are going to get support with that Melamar. Greninja GX is going to be Madness. A lot of good cards. A lot of good cards in the new set. I should definitely say just that. Let's go with Shona. Okay, another double course energy. That's sweet. And Aurora Beam for 80. Without Choice Band, I'm gonna actually need 3 turns to deal some damage to my opponent's Solgaleo, which is a lot of time. And there's another GX Solgaleo, so if he have energy, he can definitely knock me out with his Solgaleo Prism Star, but once he do that, I don't know what he's gonna do after that. I can even use the Spike Armor for free, which means that I don't even need to waste my Ninetales. But always Guzma can be used, and then I can use Ninetales pretty much easily. As for example, you can see it right now, he decided to do this. Interesting. This is very important actually for me, because right now I can use advantage of Counter Catcher and punish my opponent, which I'm definitely gonna do. 2-hit knockout is always welcome, so we're gonna put that Stadium in play. Oh no, we are both equal by the price cards right now. Okay, since we are both equaled by the price cards, Rescue Stretcher, put a Pokemon from your discard pile back into your hand. Yeah, let it be Vulpix. Get back into my hand. I'm also gonna use Brooklet Hill. Put one more Vulpix on the bench. But I'm not gonna play Double Course Energy. That's the key. I'm just gonna focus using those Water Energy cards. Next turn, he definitely needs to retreat. And if he really wants to retreat, he can do that. He can do that. I'm gonna retreat onto my Sandslash, paying 1 energy, and dealing 30 with a Spike Armor, because I really need to keep those Ninetales alive, which is very important. And I need to deal 2-hit knockout against his Solgaleo. So there's another Field Blower, and I think that was probably the last one. Maybe he played 3 of them, who knows. And the Bex Potion, which is a pretty good card right there, and a Sycamore for 7, which means that if he really wants to deal some damage, he definitely needs to attack with his Solgaleo for 160. But in that case, he's gonna take 3 damage or 6 damage counters back. And that's not something you really want to do, but I guess you don't have another option available. Corona Impact for 160. Oh, actually for 320 because of the weakness. Completely forget about that. But anyways, right now Counter Catcher can be used. And again, I'm gonna play another Brooklet Hill from my hand, but I'm not gonna bench any of my Pokemons on the bench. This is just gonna be Aurora Beam for 80. And basically, I could even preserve that Ninetales just by... Oh no, I couldn't, because I didn't have another Sentry on the bench. Ultra Ball. Oh, so finally he decided to go for that Solgaleo, but I guess a little bit too late, I should say that. Isn't it? I mean, it will depend on how many energies. He have 4 of them in his discard pile. Well, he can try to use a Radiant Star and maybe still pull something useful here. But first, he needs to retreat back to his Solgaleo in order to be able even to attack with it. Because after you use Corona Impact, you're not in a position to attack anymore. And there's the Skyla. So this might be for the rare candy. No, it is for the max potion, actually. Ooh. But this play are gonna actually slow me a little bit. And also put me in a position to think twice, what should I do next? But still, I'm fine, because he needs to use Radiant Star and power up his Solgaleo, and one of his... Oh, he decided to go with energy on his Solgaleo GX. That's a really interesting decision. Really it was. So, I guess I need to use my Aurora Beam. It's not that I have other option available. I simply need to do that. Okay, so the stupid decision for me was to play that Rescue Stretcher since I'm only running 1. This might actually cost me a win in this game, but I still have 1 more Ninetales left, at least. And I have Counter Catcher available, which can be triggered at next turn for one of his Cosmogs. But as long as I have those Ninetales in play, I'm in a much better position. So we might see right now another Corona Impact, but this is definitely going to cost him a Solgaleo. Or we might see another energy from his hand Guzma play for something like Remoraid or one of my Vulpixes on the bench. No, he decided to pass the turn. And this pass at this moment, it is probably going to cost my opponent a game. Because right now I can take advantage, knocking his Solgaleo with my Aurora Beam and taking a prize card. Which means that this pretty much seems to be a GG at this stage of the game, because there's a 3rd Field Blower. Alright, so he actually played 3 instead of 2 Field Blowers, maybe even 4, who knows. And the Ultra Rod onto his Solgaleo GX. And the Guzma onto my probably Remoraid. No, for the Vulpix. Okay, and it's my turn, so what we're gonna find here is gonna be Guzma. And I'm just gonna target his Cosmog, of course. Plus I'm also gonna do something like this. I can take a prize card, why not? So there's the 80. And Water Energy. The biggest problem for my opponent deck is the fact that he simply cannot recover once he used those Sunsteel Strikes. Because you're trading a prize for 2 prize cards, and in that situation, you're in a very bad position. You can't do too much, seriously, and that's just insane. Plus, you also have problem with that Luminous Barrier, and you can just Ultra Rod multiple times until you're trying to do something. But he even decided to pull his Tapu Lele right now. And at this stage of the game, I also have Sandshrew, Sandslash, plus Ninetales with that Aurora Beam and the Choice Band for 110. And yeah, that's just it. I mean, my board is completely set up. And there's the Ultra Ball, so it's gonna be 4, let's see. Ultra Ball for a Solgaleo with the Shining Arrow and Fangs of Sun. A little bit too late, I should say that. This card just came in play a little bit too late. There's a rare candy. He still needs to charge like 3 energies in it. And the problem for him is that he had like 8 energies in his discard pile. 7 and 2 on the Solgaleo GX. And there's also a Skyla play, so what he's gonna grab with his Kyla. Let's see. Maybe a max potion play? No, so he decided to concede. And overall, at the end, managed to pull 2 victories and 1 defeat. So yeah, pretty much better win ratio with this deck that I was expected. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to hit the thumbs up, sub the channel for more videos. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this cheap budget deck. We'll see you next time, so have a nice day and goodbye.